To BQ Prime, a very good afternoon to all the viewers. I'm Hiral Dadia, and joining us on the show is Rahul Sharma, Director and Head of Research at JM Financial. Rahul, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Yeah, very good afternoon, Hiral. Sorry for taking your name wrongly at the start of
No,
this.
no, no problem at all. Rahul, my first question coming to you is the hopes are really high overall in terms of market scaling new highs, but I think it's the last couple of hours of trade that actually shatter the dreams of the investors, and that's the phenomena that we've been witnessing over the last couple of trading sessions. What are the levels that you are watching out for right now?
See, market people are the one of the toughest people on this planet, so I don't think so. A very small move like this will shatter their dreams. But having said that, technically, yes, we are closing very close to a support line of 18,700 on the Nifty. We have been somehow maintaining this trend line on the daily charts, where on a consequential basis we have formed higher lows. And today, like so many days in the past, it was a good opportunity for the markets to hit a new all-time high, but it just keeps on pushing it for that bit longer. The good thing is small caps have not given up. The good thing is, heavyweights, especially in the financial side, like Bajaj Twins, are holding up well. So some of the key components, like last week, we saw Reliance doing well. We saw metals staying upbeat. We saw a lot of key components, anything except Bank Nifty was doing well, and we saw Nifty giving us a robust close. Now, structurally speaking, this move has got long legs. We haven't seen a meaningful correction as yet. Now, when does it happen? In terms of timing, it is very difficult to say. But the silver lining is US markets closed on Friday at their breakout point. So Dow Jones 34 300 odd is a level where there is a multiple resistance. It managed to close just exactly at that level, which means that once we're able to safely navigate that area, US market should see a further rally upside, which should bode well for the equity markets domestically as well. So as of now, it seems like we're just spending time before we take that leap of faith. But eventually, I think you should be heading towards 19,000 as an immediate target and 19,500 on a positional basis. So dips are to be bought into, and the best thing to do is, probably unless and until this breakout happens, it's best to trade within the range.
Right. And what levels are you tracking in terms of Bank Nifty, Rahul? Because 44,000 is becoming a crucial resistance. On closing basis, we are not really able to achieve that number. Until we don't, there will be this kind of consolidation and selling pressure that is expected in terms of Bank Nifty as well.
Yeah, so the whipsaw movement is pretty much a highlight of Bank Nifty these days, and we have seen lower tops being made in this index. Now, this index was the sectoral leader. So we saw very early on banking take the lead. Then the lead was shifted to reality. Then we saw auto stocks do very well. But this is these are, I would say, green shoots of a possible divergence. So as of now, this is a divergence where Nifty is holding well, but bank stocks continue to sort of take a back seat. Now, the best thing to do is follow levels. So as far as Bank Nifty is concerned, there is a double bottom around the 43,400 mark. So as long as 43,400 is intact, I think the consolidation or sideways action should continue. If this level breaks, I think that will call for a further downside, where we may see the Bank Nifty testing the first, we had made a low on 8th of May, which is around 42,500 odd. So I think that level can be tested in the due course of time. Nifty, I think 18,700 closing basis remains a very crucial level. As long as we close below the same, we should be fine. If we do close below the same, it should be a caution, especially on the long positions. At least we advise to take some profits and let the market play out the correction.
Right. Now, coming to stock specific action, overall, let's look at few of the top gainers. Now, you have a Britannia, which is in focus. In fact, the stock has hit a new lifetime high in trade today. What is the derivative data indicating from an upside perspective from current levels?
Yeah, so FMCG have had their time of their life. The overall FMCG index has done extremely well. In fact, in some of the area, technically the index is heavily overbought. The components being not any different. As far as Britannia is concerned, clearly 5,000 psychological mark has been tested. So far, there are no signs of slowing down, at least as far as the momentum indicators are concerned. So, which makes you believe that there is a bit of more upside left to this. Now, in terms of the derivatives data, what is important to see is there a volume expansion that is happening? So, clearly on the futures side, if you track closely the last 5, 6 trading sessions, the volume has been on a declining spree. So, clearly suggesting that, the interest is not as high as probably what it was when the stock was relatively at lower levels. So we would advise clients to take some profits here. The stock is at its life high. Maybe a dip of around 5, 6% should make things attractive once again for the stock. But as far as current levels are concerned, it is prudent to take money off the table.
Right. Talking about the Bajaj twins as well, both of them are seeing some smart moves in today's session. What should the strategy be?
Yeah, so bank, financials have sort of, today Nifty has been sustaining around the 19,400 mark. We've seen happening in banking stocks. Nifty has been a bit volatile, but I think due to Bajaj twins, we've seen some good traction happening over here. Now, in terms of the derivative data, there's not much big change, especially in Bajaj Finance. But technically speaking, it is a continuation pattern. The stock went up, consolidated for a bit, and now we've seen a follow-up round of buying happening once again. So, there is a very good probability that this stock heads towards the earlier area. So, we had a top in September last year, somewhere around the 70-700 mark. So, there's a good possibility that this move takes us to those levels. We've seen a consolidation last week. Today, we've seen a follow-up round of buying happening. Although the volumes, especially in the cash, are not that high, but at least in the futures we've hit like a 10-day high volume. So that suggests that there is more upside to it. So one can continue to stay long, maybe have a stop loss placed at 70-50, and somewhere around 7600, 7700 is where we see the Bajaj Finance heading to. So both the stocks should do well in conjunction. I think out of the two, Bajaj Finance is the one to go for. Bajaj Finserv, again, in terms of levels, we see it heading towards the 1600 mark on an immediate basis. So in case you do long hold positions, the best thing to do is have a trailing stop loss placed at 1520 and ride the up move, which is another 3 to 4% 4% move, which is very much possible from here.
Right. Simultaneously, a Bank of Baroda from the PSU banking space. In fact, the bank has actually crossed the 1 lakh crore mark in market capitalization, and it's the second one after State Bank of India. State Bank is way above that. What do you make of Bank of Baroda? Because clearly the open interest addition is pretty strong. Volumes are also not too bad in the cash market.
Yeah, so Bank of Baroda is actually one of our high conviction ideas on the PSU bank space. I think a new all-time high is very much on the cards. Maybe a time frame of around 20-25 days from here. Technically, immediate basis 200, 210 is where we see the stop to. And positionally, if you ride it for a bit, there is a very good possibility that we test the January 2015 highs, which are around 228 odd. So, good 10% upside can be had in Bank of Baroda. Now, the breakout that I'm talking of is a cup and handle pattern which has been formed on the weekly charts. And this cup and handle has been in formation since December 22. So, it's a good, long, prolonged kind of a pattern which is spread across time horizontally. And such patterns are generally very reliable. So, I think maybe 4 to 5 weeks from here, we should very well see the stock head towards the new all-time high. One should stay upbeat, especially in PSU banks. And now that we have a breakout which is backed by volumes, breakout which is backed by outperformance in the PSU banking index as well, we feel there is a good possibility that we see these levels in anytime soon. Now, as far as stop loss is concerned, one can have a stop loss at 180 in case if it breaks, that should be your exit strategy. But I think looking the way things are panning out today, in spite of the broader market volatility, we feel that there's a good chance this stock does well on the upside.
Right. Moving on, let's look at a couple of other names as well, which are seeing some bit of, short positions which are being built in today's session. Let's take the likes of an ICICI Bank. How are you viewing ICICI Bank in trade?
Yeah, so you have two sets of banks. Even in the private banking space, you have an Axis Bank which did well. You have a Kotak Bank which continues to be a laggard, and ICICI is right in between. So, sort of, not leading the entire pack. Now we're seeing a pullback which is happening. Now, generally, these pullbacks are good buying opportunities. And if we simply speak of the retracements, so in terms of the retracements, it has corrected towards 23.6%, around 920 odd. I think 900 is a good level for anybody looking to cherry pick and buy on the dip. So 900, the risk reward is pretty favorable. One can have a stop loss at 870 odd, and I think the next leg of rally that we may see could very well take us beyond the 960 mark. So look to buy on dip. It should be the strategy in ICICI Bank. As of now, it is headed downwards. Maybe around 900, one can look to enter into long positions.
Right. Moving on in terms of a few other names that I was just looking at, how is the metal space looking like, specifically from a Tata Steel, NMDC, that kind of a perspective? Because again, there is some bit of short built up seen on both these counters.
Yeah, so two things are happening here. One is it has been the sector, metal sector has been an underperformer. So the catch up on the way ups is substantial. Second is it is a cyclical sector. So whenever the moves happen, the moves are quite robust, quite sharp. The metal index looks set for a move up to 6,800. Currently, we are trading around the 6,200 mark. So good upside in terms of the index. What that translates into is a good upside for the components as well. So Tata Steel is something that we like, particularly on a weekly basis. It has closed very strongly, and we feel that on a short-term basis, 124 is very much a possibility. And if you have slightly medium-term outlook, which is 3 months and plus, there's a good chance that we, revisit last year's, April's high somewhere around the 140, 145 odd mark. So a good upside can be had, especially if you are, you can buy them, hold this in delivery. Even for the short term, one can go long with the stop loss placed at 108. So both short term as well as slightly longer term, one can stay long in Tata Steel. The entire metal pack seems pretty interesting going ahead, from these levels.
Right. Moving on, let's see a few other names as well. Uh, Rahul, overall, apart from the names that we've discussed already, anything that comes to your radar which could be good opportunities?
Yeah, so IT is one space, which looks very good from a risk reward perspective. Now, most of the negatives are baked into the prices. The two IT stocks which we like particularly over here, in fact, it's a mix of, a heavyweight and a mid cap IT stock. So on the heavyweight, we like Infosys a bit, Infosys a lot. The stock has formed a higher low formation. Overall, we feel that there is, the stock is all set to test the 1350 1360 mark on the upside. So from a short term perspective, one can look at IT. There is a big gap on the daily charts which gets filled around the 1380 mark. I think that it should also get filled in the due course of time. So one can stay long on Infosys, have a stop loss placed at 1264, and we believe there's a good upside to be had in this large cap IT name. On the mid cap side, LTI Mindtree is something that we like. The stock has faced multiple resistances around the 5,100 mark. Today, it did try to cross that momentarily, but I think sooner than later, this breakout should happen, and this breakout translates into an upside of at least 10% from these levels. So one can look to stay long in LTI Mindtree. There's a good headroom in this one as well. As a stop loss, one can have a stop loss placed at 4,900, and take a preemptive bet that we believe this breakout should happen sooner than later.
Right. So these are a few of the names that one should be watching out for as well. Thank you, Rahul, so much for joining us on the show and giving us those views. And clearly, uh, we've
Thanks.
st- we've still
Thanks.
not managed to end above those 18,800 levels. We are below that. 18,750 is what we're tracking. We hit a low of 18,719, but there has been a mild bit of recovery that has come in from the day's lowest levels. The advanced decline ratio on Nifty 50 has been pretty much in favor of the bears. And if you see in terms of stock, Bajaj Twins, Tech Mahindra and TCS, as well as HDFC Life for the top gainers, whereas on the losing end, you had Adani Enterprises, which was down 4%. Kotak Mahindra Bank, Hero Motor, Axis Bank, as well as Adani Ports were few of the other names that were trading under pressure. Let's quickly look at Bank Nifty as well. A 300 points cut coming in terms of Bank Nifty. Though it hit a low of 43,501, it recovered almost 130 points from the day's lowest levels to end in that range of 43,632. Again, the advance decline ratio absolutely favoring the bears. You just had three advances, which was Bank of Baroda. In fact, interesting one where it has crossed the 1 lakh crore mark in terms of market cap. The second one from the PSU banking space to do that after SBI, though the gap between the first and the second is absolutely quite wide. PNB and HDFC Bank were the other gainers. In fact, on the losing end, you had all the other banks which were down and about in trade. If you see in terms of the Sensex as well, interesting moves there. If you see on the Sensex, clearly 63,168 is the level that we were tracking. Clearly, in terms of closure, that's where we have ended at. So pretty flattish move on that front. And overall, if you see in terms of the gainers, MRPL saw a good run in today's session. Wockhardt Pharma, eClerx as well as Gravita, whereas CG Power, Thomas Cook were few of the top losers as well. So clearly, a lot of stock-specific action is what we are seeing, and clearly the resistances on Nifty and Bank Nifty are so strong that they're actually restricting them from inching towards the life high levels, and this is a phenomena which is expected to continue. And if the global markets play spot further, there could be some bit of downward pressure that could further kick in as well. But analysts are of the opinion that this is absolutely a short-term move. Long-term, there is positivity. The underlying tone of the market is absolute positive as well. So buy on dips could probably be the strategy that investors and traders can look at. In fact, that's all that we have on this session on the first day of the week. Let's see how the rest of the week also pans out. Thanks for watching.